Hi, I'm Jason Blanchard, and these are my creative adventures. Good morning, everybody. I'm out here doing a video on what I am growing in my yard this year. So here's my house, and I'm trying to do a really quick video because I'm trying to do this video real quick and to show you guys what I'm growing and what I've planted. And I've got a baby inside the house, and I got a monitor, and if hopefully Elena does not wake up before I can get this video done. So let's hope we don't get interrupted by a 9-month-old baby. So actually she's a little bit more than 9 months now, but anyway, I'm carrying around this monitor too, so let me turn the volume up on this. Okay. Alright. Behind me here, gotta switch hands here. Alright, behind me here, you'll see, okay, this bush was already here and when I moved in. Got that tree, that tree, that tree, that tree, that tree, and that tree. 6. I believe they're Alberta spruces. Yep. 6 Alberta spruces. I still haven't taken the tags off, as you can see. And this is pretty much all I've planted in the front yard for additions. I do got some pots in the front yard, and I threw some wildflower seeds out here at random, just all over the place. And seems like this is the only place it came up. It's right here. Got purple and a white flower and stuff in there. Just a bunch of weeds growing up, and it looks like those might be flowers popping up from all those seeds I've put everywhere. And I even put wildflower seeds in these 2 hanging pots, and they never came up. And so there's stuff here from the people in the house before us. We just bought this house last summer on June, and now we're pretty much at the end of June. We're almost to July 1st, and there's all this stuff here that was here from the people before, but the weeds weren't here. They must have had people taking care of the property themselves, because I couldn't find a dandelion or any real type of weeds all around this property last year, and this year I've got tons of them. But that's okay, because I'm trying to learn about wild edibles too, so that's something I'm trying to do. So let's head to the backyard where all the real stuff is that I've grown. I really am trying to learn about wild edibles as much as I can. Not just dandelions, but all the stuff that you may not even know about, like horsetails and plantain. We got plantain, we got all kinds of things. Got lamb's quarters, you got wood sorrel, and all kinds of things. Alright, just came to the side of my house. That's the front yard where I just came from. And so here's my hose, and in this area I'm going to put raised beds along these 2 sides here eventually and trellis them up. So let's get a better look at that. So as I come around, this sidewalk is actually part of the neighbor's yard. It's actually part of their driveway, but you almost got to step on it to get around this big bush here. And this area right here, open area, would be a perfect area to put two really nice raised beds just like the ones I've built inside the fence. And then I'm just gonna wood chip it and mulch it. Such a tiny area, why bother mowing it? Okay. So right here, I've got this big huge trellis that I built, and I got these raised beds that I put in with 2x12s, and there's all kinds of arugula that just took over in here, and it was taking over this whole bed, and I pulled a lot of it out. Now we got some onions right there. Looks like they're doing real good. Those are those green onions. Those are store-bought, and I just stuck them in the ground. Actually, they're from the farmer's market, I believe, and we stuck them in the ground. And got all that arugula, which looks like it bolted early, and I've had flowers like crazy. And you can eat them flowers. Them flowers are good. So let's find one. Sure there's no bugs. Well, looks like the baby's awake, but she's not crying yet, so let's try to get this video over with. Alright. I planted different things. Got cherry tomatoes right there. Those are tomato cellos. Chello. And there's actually two plants there. I probably planted them too close. There's tons of green tomatoes on there that are yellowing up. And then I got cucumbers and squashes over here. And look at the trellis going all the way up. That's got to be what, 8 foot tall, maybe 10. And then got all these cucumbers growing, squashes. It's crazy. So got all these cucumbers and squashes. Tons of tomatoes. The tomatoes actually vining up the cucumber plant. So you see right here, I don't know if you can see those or not, tons of tomatoes there, just crazy. There's tomatoes everywhere. I'm gonna have cherry tomatoes come out of my, so it's just gonna be crazy. Tons and tons of tomatoes. Tons of them over here. There's actually cucumbers. I've actually seen a couple underneath here. I know I've seen some. And I can see some growth. That's a cucumber starting to form. That's everywhere you see a flower, a cucumber or a squash is gonna go, hey look, there's a little bee in that flower. So hopefully he's fertilizing that one. And in this bed I got other stuff growing. Like I got some different kind of kales in here, but they're being grown over by the cucumber bed. I got dinosaur kale on here, which just keeps getting nibbled off like crazy. And then I've got I can't even remember what kind of kale this is. This might be that might be the red Russian kale here. I'm not sure. I think that might be the red Russian kale. I got another type of lettuce in here growing. Can't remember what it is, but it just hasn't gotten big enough or looked that great, so I haven't really picked it because it didn't look too great. I don't know what this is. I think this is a weed. That might be my red Russian kale actually. I got flowering kale too somewhere. One of those is flowering kale, but I don't think it made it. Okay, here's some cabbage, flowering cabbage, Osaka pink flowering cabbage right here, and they're just getting nibbled off like crazy from all the bugs and all the critters around the yard. But next year, I plan on going at least one more higher, maybe two if I can afford it with taxes. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna add on and get a bunch of dirt and build this up higher, and then it'll be harder for like rabbits and the squirrels and the chipmunks and stuff to get into stuff. But there is tons and tons of stuff growing. I'm gonna have cucumber squashes and tomatoes like crazy, especially when you see this other bed over here. We'll get to that in a second. But you see how big this is trellising up. Crazy. And this one started to go into the neighbor's yard, which there's some more I gotta move right there that's going into the neighbor's yard. I gotta trellis it back up and direct it and get it going. So that's crazy. More tomatoes. Yep, she's playing around. So, alright. Tomatoes. Tons of starts. There's some on the bottom, but nothing ripe and ready to go. And over here, here's some more. I did plant yellow squash behind here, and it obviously died. Right here where these yellow flowers are at, right here, is some Japanese, let's see, it's called red mustard. It's Japanese giant red mustard, and it's getting attacked and munched on pretty good, but that stuff is some pretty stout, spicy stuff, and I like it. I need to probably try to eat some more of it. Alright, and over here we got tons and tons of types of, well, there's just tons of red onion and white onion that I planted through here. And then there's also weeds that have come up that I need to try to pull, whatever this is. But I'm trying to learn about wild edibles, so I not touch it because I want to try to research it and figure out what they are to see if it's something edible. If it's something edible, I might want to encourage it to stay, because wild edibles are actually more nutritious than a lot of the stuff you might try to plant and grow. This stuff comes up on its own vigorously, and it'd be good to take the work out of everything. Alright, she's sitting up, so I better hurry up. I've got tons of green bell pepper plants right here. Well, there's green bell peppers, orange bell peppers, and yellow bell peppers and whatnot through here. But this is mainly different kinds of cherry tomato plants, like fig cherries, yellow pear, the little yellow pear ones, and that's mainly what this bed is. But there is some other stuff that's planted in here. On the edge here is green bell peppers. There's purple bell peppers over here, which I haven't seen any forming. I got two different types of okra grown over here. No, I might have to cut this video short here soon. I got to finish this raised bed over here and get soil in it and stuff. Over here, I've got an allium blue eddy, which looks like it's not doing so hot anymore. Over here, I got a Nepeta Persian blue, and those are two things that they said at the farmers market would help deter the critters from trying to eat stuff. And I don't know. It doesn't seem like this stuff's really getting attacked much by much of anything. But there is tons and tons of cherry tomatoes on this. I've got some chocolate style tomatoes over here. I've got chocolate cherry tomatoes growing over here. Okay. And over here on the deck, got two curly kale plants. I've got, gotta move over here so I can read the tag. This should be okay, there's stevia right here. The other one is chocolate mint. Okay. Chocolate mint, stevia, and whatever I planted in here didn't come up. That's nothing but weeds. Okay, this is some sort of red. I think it's I believe the red, um, it's a red lettuce. It's a red, romaine lettuce, I believe. So it's coming up. I've cut it back and it's come up. And I actually put way too many seeds in there. And it is, been coming back up. Not so much over here. It looks like it's starting to not grow so well. If you see, I got one, two, three, four Colorado blue spruces that I failed to plant in time and they died. I also have a couple of red ferns over there that died that I didn't get planted. And then that's something from last year that I was going to use and I just haven't dumped it out yet. But all kinds of just stuff that I haven't had time to take care of. I don't have time to take care of my garden. It has to kind of fend for itself. Luckily it's been raining a lot because I haven't had time to even water. I barely have time to come out here and mow, so because I am gone 3 days at a time and home for 2. And when I'm home, when you got little kids at home, you don't have time for too much of other stuff depending on your schedule and your circumstances. So we got this other, this is called the City Pickers. I got 2 of them. You buy these pots for $30, and they got these black tubes that you see on the corner that you fill water underneath. There's a hollow place on the bottom, and then there's a grate. You fill it up with water, then you put the dirt on top of the grate, and then you plant whatever you're planting. And the idea is you water in there, and then there's enough water for everything for several days. You just try to keep water in there every so often, and then whatever you plant in there. And this is ideal. You could use these for indoors too. It'd be great. So if you're a little lazy like I am, or you're just busy like I am, these are great. Pick these up for $30 a piece. Get some good soil and plant whatever you're going to plant, either inside or outside. And they're on wheels, so you can just roll them around. And one of the wheels, or maybe 2 of the wheels, have the little locks on them. But I've got several types of mints and stuff growing on in here. I've got a banana mint. I've got a pineapple mint. I've got a variegated thyme, more stevia, some basil. There's some basil over here. And if I didn't already say so, I got more stevia over here. And then over here, oh, I've got some peppermint and spearmint growing in between these 2 beds, these 2 things. There's the purple basil right here. I had all 4 of these pots of purple basil, and this is the last one surviving. It looks like it's gonna probably die eventually too. And I got all these tons and tons of weeds coming up. I don't know what the heck they are. I planted some different stuff in here. I put some lettuce seeds in here, and I've got a whole hodgepodge of stuff going on in here, and I don't know what anything is. So I can't tell the difference between one thing and the other. I'm sure some of this is some of it is edible stuff, but until I can properly identify it, I'm not going to eat it. Like this, I'm seeing this all over the place. I don't know if that's an edible or not. You got weeds growing in that pot. That's pretty much the stuff I've planted. Last year I planted this pear tree, which this pear tree is doing really good. It's not producing any fruit. It thought it was going to be producing some fruit, but the nub that I saw, see if I can find it, nothing seemed to happen with it. I don't even see it no more. There was like a bud that looked like it was turning into a fruit. Now this peach tree over here definitely has fruits. These things, and there's tons of them growing. There was at least a dozen or more. I think we've had some critters come and picking some off because there was a lot more on here. We planted this last summer. We planted that pear tree, this peach tree, and that is a green apple tree. And as you can see, it's dying. I'm probably going to have to pull that and plant something else in its place, or see if I can save it, but I think it's pretty far gone. Tons and tons of peaches. Alright guys, one thing I forgot to film just a little bit ago was these purple fingerling potatoes. Purple fingerling potatoes that I planted right here. All this stuff growing right here is purple fingerling potatoes. And I did have all that fencing up, and I had this big chunk of this area fenced out, and it just got overgrown with grass. I threw some seeds in, tried to grow a whole bunch of things, and it just didn't work out. I knew it wasn't going to work out, but I did, however, get these purple fingerling potatoes to come up, and I just mowed around them, and there's some grass there on the edge and stuff, and so later I'll have some purple potatoes. So that's something I wanted to kind of put in as a side note. It'll be interesting to see how many potatoes I get out of it. I planted it right in the ground, and next year I will plant them somewhere over in the raised beds, and we'll see how many more raised beds I get going. Got the compost corner. That's that Yimby. Alright guys, if you saw my video assembling the Yimby tumbling composter, that's it right there. And then that's I don't know what the name brand is, that one on the lower to the ground, but that's the first one I bought. That's the second one, and that is the Joriform right here, this green one. That is a really good one because it's insulated inside. And thing about composters, compost will happen, but with like these tumbling composters, if you're not out here every day to spin them, and if you're not actually working them the way you're supposed to and getting the right combinations of the greens and browns and the wetness, the right amount of water content to the right amount of the right dry and wet and all that. If you don't get everything just right, you're going to get different kinds of compost, and it's going to go at different speeds. The nice things about the Joriform is it's insulated, and so when it heats up, it's going to retain the heat, and you're going to get compost faster, which is nice because those two styles just are plastic. They're just thin walls of plastic. However they're designed, they're just plastic. There's no insulation in there. So there's really no retention of heat other than what the compost creates for itself. But these are aided by these thick walls. Even this one's hot. And I need to sift through this because it's hot. There's all kinds of pieces in there and things that just haven't composted. And so I just need to get in here, and I really need to work this, but I'm not home enough to really work this the way it needs to be worked. And the other side has got all kinds of different stuff in there. Big chunks because I'm kind of lazy. If I were to chop those down a lot more, they would compost better. But I'm, like I said, I just got too much going on, and it's hard to get everything done that I want. So right here is my compost sifter, which I haven't really taken advantage of. This is just this thing here was a sign thing that was left here on the side of the garage, and I just took advantage of it. It already had these eye hooks in it. All I did was take some chain, and I just pretty much built this part of it and put this screen mesh on there, this hardware cloth on it. And I tried to kind of use it and to test it, but I really haven't put it to work like I should. I should be taking all this compost out of these and sifting it and then putting the compost back in and adding more stuff to it, but I just haven't had the time. So over here there is a bed that the people who owned the house before me made, and that was nothing but some red mulch. And I threw all this old dirt that I had that was old compost stuff, and all these different bins I had that I actually moved here with me. And it was unfinished compost stuff, and some of it kind of smelled, and I dumped it in there. And I'm thinking about taking these boards out and doing something different with this area. I gotta get some swing sets and stuff and playground equipment for the kids out here. But I am planning on taking the raised bed like that and trying to come all the way down and around, and come all the way around, and I'm gonna move these compost tumblers somewhere and put them somewhere different, or maybe they'll get more direct sunlight, which will help the compost happen. So that is that. And then there's the side of the house. Let's get this part done real quick. Oh, got this little fenced area that I got yard clippings in there. The grass clippings and everything are right there, breaking down, and I need to come in here and I need to toss it up and aerate it so that it will heat up again. In my previous video, I had all kinds of green beans and stuff that I planted here, and this is nothing but weeds. I have no idea what's growing. It's weeds, and I'm trying to learn about weeds. I'm trying to research it. I'm looking for plantain to start growing in my yard. I've seen a lot of wood sorrel. Here is I think that it might be dandelion, I don't know. Dandelion's got more toothed leaves though. No, that's not dandelion. But I had grape stuff. I had grape plants and raspberry plants and stuff I planted in here, and some of them are still alive, but they're not doing anything. I wonder if it's just too sunny, or because I planted it, because underneath all this mulch you can kind of see the rocks on top from me disturbing it. This rose plant has been doing pretty good. Looks like it's not so much anymore, but it had all kinds of roses on it. Goji berries in here, blueberries and stuff I planted. Just none of it did very well. So I gotta figure out what I want to do here. I'm thinking I could go off the front and make a real narrow greenhouse, but it's gonna be real narrow. I might do that on the other side of the house where I said I had room. But those are some of the plans I'm thinking about doing and the things I got growing. And next year there's going to be more. So I got a kid I got to get back into. So thanks for watching. I don't know if you guys like this video or not. Let me know. But some people like to see what other people are doing. So thanks for watching.